Now we want to turn to Decision 2022, where we're looking at a history-making matchup for Michigan's highest office.
Republican voters getting behind Tudor Dixon, who earned the GOP gubernatorial nomination in Tuesday's primary. She'll be facing Governor Whitmer in the November general election, and this will be the first time that two women are on the tickets. Let's get to Grant Herms. He's in studio with us. Been up all night monitoring all the results that have come in and the reactions, so let's talk about it.
That's right. I have not left this building since 7 o'clock last night, so let's start here with the governor's race. I'm actually going to get out of that, our system. There we go. So all that green there, that is Tudor Dixon. Just 3 counties for Kevin Rinke. A commanding victory here for Tudor Dixon, even as some of the results even still come in from some of the slower counties overnight. But this really is the story of the evening here. Dixon getting that endorsement from former President Trump. That gave her what was basically a 20-point swing, things that we predicted. Our pollster Richard Zuber predicted that as well, but really a commanding lead here. We also want to take a look at the 12th district down here in Detroit, which is Rashida Tlaib's new district. Now, she wins this handily, right? 66%, 18%, the closest one there at Detroit City Clerk Janice Winfrey here, but also the most liberal of all the 4 candidates here. So Detroit voters, at least in the new 12th, which was Brenda Lawrence's old seat, she decided to retire this year. So this stays solid Democratic, but voters here saying that they want a member of the squad still to represent them. Now, we want to move on to the other major story here, which is the 10th. Actually, we're going to start on the Democratic side here in the new 10th. Former judge, prosecutor Carmel Linga going to take this one 48-16. But on the Republican side, it's John James winning this early, had an early lead. They called it for him early, 86-14. John James, maybe one of 2 black members of Congress Michigan could be sending, the first time that's ever happened. Also, John James, maybe the only black man to represent anybody in Metro Detroit. A lot going on here. Now, we have to talk about also the third all the way over here, John Gibbs, that race that is very much on Richard Zuba's mind. You'll hear from him in just a little bit. That is a wild race, but I'll let him take over that this morning. Back in the governor's race, though, want to hear from Tudor Dixon what she had to say last night about this victory.
We have all suffered because Gretchen Whitmer's policies stopped us from doing what the people of Michigan do best, from providing for our families, strengthening our communities, working hard, and every day working to make Michigan the best place in the world to live.
Tudor Dixon there setting up the pivot to November against Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Everett, a lot to watch, just 91 days until the midterms.
All right. Thank you, Grant. We want to talk about the election results now coming out of Wayne County. They're coming in slowly because of modem issues there. But in the newly drawn 13th district, Detroit is set to get a new representative for Congress. These numbers have been updating throughout the morning. Currently, Sri Tanadar is in first place, but we do want to point out more votes do need to be counted. Let's head on over to Rhonda.
All right, our pollster Richard Zuba is here, was with us all evening yesterday. Let's first off start with the race for governor. Now we have this matchup between Tudor Dixon and Governor Whitmer. How do these candidates match up?
Well, I think it's a historic matchup, for one thing, for 2 women to be running against each other for governor in Michigan. I think the start, clearly Tudor Dixon is the underdog here. It's difficult to beat an incumbent. She's got her work cut out for her. Our latest polling in mid-July showed her Whitmer with a 10-point lead over Dixon. That's going to tighten. Races tighten in Michigan. This is going to be decided by independent voters in Southeast Michigan particularly. And I think in this race particularly, we are going to see the abortion question really play a central role. We saw what happened in Kansas last night. That's coming to Michigan.
And they are clearly on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that issue.
That's correct. I think we're going to see a lot made of the rape and incest exception on abortion in Michigan. This is going to be an interesting dynamic in this race here.
The other interesting dynamic is the influence of former President Trump on Tudor Dixon's campaign and also other primary elections across the state. So talk about what you're seeing.
You know, we had this race very close about two and a half weeks ago. And we said at the time, whoever Donald Trump endorsed would win this race. And sure enough, Donald Trump came in and, endorsed Tudor Dixon Friday. And we saw that those numbers jump by about 20 points. Donald Trump still has an enormous influence on Republican primary voters in Michigan. And we saw that in the Gibbs-Meyer race.
Out on the west side of the state, District 3.
And we saw that play out in some of the legislative races also.
This governor's race, we saw a lot of the candidates because of the whole debacle with the signatures and many of those candidates getting knocked off. Do you think that also helped Tudor Dixon as well? Who might have also been up there in your opinion?
Well, it clearly helped Tudor Dixon. First of all, we need to step back and realize what we watched in this GOP primary was not a normal race or primary. We had a historic scandal. James Craig was the clear front runner. He had huge name ID in Southeast Michigan. By not getting on the ballot, he opened the opportunity for Tudor Dixon to emerge as one of those 5 final candidates.
Very quickly, Wayne County having some issues with getting all of the ballots tabulated. What's going on there?
Well, it sounds to me like a lot of incompetence is going on there. You know, we constantly have these issues, whether it's, modems not working, or in the case, we also have this case of absentees take a lot of time to process.
Yeah.
And the legislature won't let the clerks pre-process those returned absentee ballots. This is what's causing these delays in, finding out who's winning these elections. Michigan needs to tackle these issues like states like Florida have. Other states know how to count votes quickly. Michigan needs to learn how to do it.
And hopefully we can get that done by November.
Good luck.
Richard, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight as always. For a closer look at all of the election results, it's very easy to navigate on the homepage of clickondetroit.com.